Well, is emotional intelligence important to police work? In a word, yes. You know, in policing, historically, we do a really good job, I think, of coming up with good ideas about arresting the bad guy or the suspect. But we usually do a pretty poor job in inward looking at ourselves or self awareness, right? Knowing what our limitations are, in the words of Clint Eastwood, knowing what our skills and abilities are. We have these blind spots that we really just can't see as leaders in our organization, and we really don't take time to look at ourselves inward and be self-aware. And that's why we have these management trainings that we go to in leadership and police leadership. That's SWAT. That's not special weapons and tactics, but strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Right. So that's one managing technique that they refer to. So managing oneself, it's important, right? Knowing the link, these EI skills, as I call them, emotional intelligence skills, it's very necessary, right? It's not only for leaders, but just becoming a better officer. You know, Adding these managing emotions, how we manage our emotions is a very important skill. If you just look at the news anywhere today, there's plenty of examples of where officers lose their temper. It's captured on camera, and law enforcement looks foolish. These organizations look foolish. When in fact, these officers, they're just being emotionally compromised, as Spock would say in Star Trek, right? That's why we can lose control and look stupid to anyone watching, right? Uh, as leaders, when we act that way, we lose our competency and we lose respect of our people, forcing them to question our ability to be effective leaders, right? The simple fact is having EI skills is science-based. And if more officers had this training, they'd make better decisions, and maybe we wouldn't be in the position we are now in the public eye. You know, when it comes to leadership, EI skills become important, such as recognizing emotions in other people. Right, some of our subordinates, or even our peers, or even our bosses. Right, one emotion that plays a vital role in leadership is empathy. Right. And any night shift cop will tell you the empathy scale is pretty low because they're dealing with bad people all the time. But if you recognize that, there's something you can do about having that ability to build emotional self-awareness. Is one of the critical people skills that we look for in leaders, right? If you couple that with the art of handling relationships within an organization, and then you can see the significance that EI really builds in a leader, right? And now I'm not talking about being soft, or change the way we do policing. It's just something to help us, right? Another tool in the toolbox, if you will. I'm suggesting that we remain professional, control our emotions, do that self-evaluation, and see where we are in respect to our EI skills and our abilities, right? Corporate America spends millions of dollars every year on EI assessments and education, and they have done so for many years. Other organizations, such as U.S. military, specifically the Special Forces on command levels, they use this. They spend millions and millions of dollars every year. And in fact, it's mandatory in a lot of organizations. They're tired of training people, get them to be tactically and technically sound and proficient, but then they lose them because they have poor EI and they can't be professional, or they can't make good decisions. In fact, all Navy SEAL and Air Force PJs take this EI assessment as part of their selection process, right? So, in my opinion, law enforcement should consider the investment of emotional intelligence skills and techniques into our people and our organizations. It becomes a very important part of the complete picture for police officers.